Nick Reiner, son of the iconic filmmaker Rob Reiner, is set to be arraigned in a Los Angeles court today after a string of delays following his arrest in December. He's charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, accused of killing his parents, Rob and Michele Reiner. Those charges include a special circumstances allegation of multiple murders and a special allegation of using a deadly weapon. Nick was last in court in January, but his arraignment was delayed after his high-profile defense attorney withdrew from the case. He has not yet entered a plea. NBC News legal analyst Misty Marris joins me now with more on this case. Misty, good morning. So today, this is the 3rd scheduled attempt for Nick Reiner's arraignment. He's now being represented by a public defender. Any chances the court case could get delayed again? And is it normal for arraignments to get postponed this many times?
Yeah, good morning, Joe. Well, this is a unique case, and it really could go one of 2 ways. Either a plea will be entered and we'll be off to the races when it comes to the rest of the process and moving our way towards trial, or there could be an issue with competency. And what competency means is looking at the mental state of the defendant at this point in time and a determination of whether they understand the nature of the charges against them and can participate in their own defense. If there is an issue with competency, the case could be delayed while the individual gets mental health treatment and is ultimately declared competent. This is done through the use of mental health experts. So today, what we'll be listening for is a plea entered and Nick Reiner is capable of moving forward in the legal process, or does the new public defender who stepped in do what's called declaring doubt, which would start that process of exploring the issue with competency. And that could be why we saw a 6-week delay between the previous date for the arraignment and today's date.
If the prosecution does decide to pursue capital punishment here, that means Nick Reiner could potentially face the death penalty. Given all the circumstances, how likely is that? What typically influences that decision for prosecutors?
So in California, the death penalty is a bit complicated because there's a moratorium that's been placed on the death penalty in 2019, meaning no executions are taking place. But the law that allows for the death penalty with this type of charge is still on the books. Nathan Hochman, who is the district attorney in Los Angeles, actually raised a blanket ban on bringing death penalty cases when he took office. But there is process. So there's a capital committee where prosecutors would have to provide information to the defense. The defense would have the opportunity to present why this should not be a death penalty case. And then ultimately, if death penalty were sought, the trial is the guilt phase, which is when you decide if the defendant is guilty, is decided by a jury. And the penalty phase is also decided by a jury and has to be unanimous, whereas in other cases, a judge would impose the penalty. So it's a bit more complicated. And I do think the fact that there are known mental health issues could be something that would derail prosecutors seeking the death penalty, because then it opens up a whole other host of constitutional challenges.
We know Alan Jackson withdrew as Nick Reiner's attorney last month. He cited, quote, circumstances beyond his control, which he said made continuing representation impossible. But he also said his team remained committed to Reiner's best interests. What more do we know about that decision and just Reiner's defense at this point?
So since Alan Jackson stepped aside and a public defender has stepped into the defense attorney's shoes, Alan Jackson's done a few interviews. He said that due to ethical concerns, he cannot say any more as to the why he had to step aside from the defense of Nick Reiner. But he always has said that he supports him and wants the best for him and believes that he will not be found guilty under the laws of California. But because you see a public defender coming in, it reads that it was a financial issue, that Nick Reiner was likely unable to pay for a private defense. And Joe, it's important to note, it's not just the defense fees of Alan Jackson that would have been at issue. It's also a tremendous amount of expert fees, which I would expect to be a part of this case due to what we know about Nick Reiner's mental health issues and perhaps drug use in the past. So all of that was going to be a tremendously expensive defense. And it's possible Nick Reiner simply does not have the ability to get his hands on that money. Perhaps it's tied up in trust. But a public defender would say that's somebody who cannot afford to pay for representation on their own.
So quickly, with Nick Reiner now being represented by a public defender, what does that mean for where the case could go from here?
Well, it will play out the same from a procedural aspect, and today will be a very consequential day as to whether or not the case moves forward or whether there is a legal competency issue where the case has to stop and Nick Reiner will have to have mental health services until he can be declared competent, which is a whole other legal process within itself. So that will be a pretty critical and consequential moment at today's arraignment.
All right, Misty, thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.